Welcome back to Fame Universe. Imagine a set of photographs circulating, and suddenly the conversation is no longer about the images themselves, but about the quiet insistence that a woman still has the right to decide how she is seen. What most people don't realize is that those so-called sexy photos of Eva Green were never simply pictures. They became a soft challenge to every assumption we still carry about confidence, public expectation, and the permission women are supposed to ask for before they remain fully present. At first glance, it looked like another confident appearance from one of the most enigmatic faces in modern cinema. But here's where the story gets interesting. Eva did not arrive as a finished public figure. She began in French theater and independent film, then stepped into the international spotlight with roles that demanded intensity rather than easy charm. The industry celebrated her presence, yet it also tried to decide which version of her was allowed to remain. Each chapter asked her to be something slightly different, and each time the public tried to lock her into a single image. The reaction to those later photographs was immediate and mixed. Some celebrated the ease and self-possession. Others seemed almost startled that a woman who had already lived several very public chapters still refused to soften into the background or ask for approval. Social media filled with the familiar mix of admiration and quiet judgment, many of the comments revealing more about the commenter's own discomfort with aging and self-expression than about Eva herself. The surprising part is how quickly the discussion moved from the photos to the larger question of whether women past a certain point in their careers are still allowed to claim space without explanation. Hidden context makes the moment deeper. Eva had already walked through the strange territory of early international attention, the typecasting that can follow a strong and unconventional screen presence, the private work of building a life beyond the spotlight, and the deliberate choice to keep selecting roles that interested her rather than ones that simply kept her visible. She navigated an industry that prefers its actresses young and uncomplicated while continuing to work with quiet consistency and a clear sense of artistic control. Fame changes personal identity in ways that are difficult to measure from the outside. One day you are the fresh face. The next you are expected to become either invisible or endlessly grateful for remaining visible. Eva's decision to step into those images felt, to many, like a calm refusal of both options. Think about the psychology for a second. When a woman who has been known for intensity, intelligence, and an almost magnetic screen presence presents a more sensual side of herself, it unsettles the tidy categories people prefer. Some viewers feel protective. Others feel challenged. A few simply feel free. The photographs became less about lighting or styling, and more about the uncomfortable truth that confidence does not expire according to a schedule written by studios, magazines, or public opinion. Eva simply continued to treat her image as something she still owned. Fan reactions told their own quiet story. Many women wrote that they felt seen. Younger fans often responded with admiration for the lack of apology. And somewhere in the middle sat the larger group who recognized a familiar human struggle, the desire to keep evolving even after the world has decided it already knows who you are. Cultural impact arrived in smaller waves. Conversations about aging, self-expression, and the pressure to remain desirable found their way into comment sections and living room discussions. It was never a scandal. It was a soft but firm reminder that public perception is often more fragile than the person being perceived. What stays with me is the resilience underneath the surface. Career journeys like hers are rarely clean arcs. They include early attention that can trap you, periods of quieter reinvention that feel invisible, and sudden moments when the world looks again and decides whether to approve. Eva Green has shown, through consistent presence and an unwillingness to shrink, that confidence is not a temporary performance. It is a decision renewed every time the spotlight returns, or, just as importantly, when it does not. In the end, those photographs matter less as images and more as evidence. Evidence that a woman can carry strength, sensuality, intensity, and hard-won wisdom in the same life without needing to explain the combination to anyone. The real story is not what the camera captured. It is the quiet power of someone who keeps choosing to be fully herself, while the rest of us argue about what that should look like. And maybe that is the part worth carrying into our own lives, the understanding that reinvention does not require permission, only the courage to keep becoming.